to the Giggles and Goals podcast.
Giggles and Goals. You like that jingle?
What's it? Do it again. I missed your
You can't
shining
repeat
moment.
Talent. Like, sometimes it's just you go with
It's
it.
a spark of creativity.
It just came to me.
It's in a flash.
It's just talent.
Sure.
But welcome to Giggles and Goals. I'm Crystal-Dior.
I'm Leonie.
And we're excited to talk to you all today. We're going to talk about something that's like, you know, everyone has one or wants one or is a part of one. We're talking about what is support? What is support system? What is community? What is
community as an entrepreneur, as a 9-to-5er, as all of the above?
Yeah, so we want to talk about it. But before we do that, what you guys have all been waiting for are one-liners.
One-liners.
Go ahead, Leonie.
Okay. I'm my biggest supporter, so watch me fangirl. I'm my biggest fan.
Like, you always, like, Sasha Fierce.
It's always the same. It's always the same because that's how I got to deliver my one-liners.
Okay. So, mine's a little bit long because me and ChatGPT crafted this.
Oh, man.
I named my ChatGPT Rick, by the way. So
Rick?
Yeah.
Why Rick?
Just came to me.
Okay.
Okay. So, in the world of business, just like diamonds, I'm here to shine, outshine, and occasionally throw a little sparkle in the shade.
Okay. So, let's try this again. And let's
Why are you telling me to try it again?
Just stop it. I'm here to shine. Go
But
ahead.
what about the outshine and occasionally...
Trust me. Finish at shine.
Okay.
Do it again.
All right. All right. All right. Okay, y'all ready?
Yes.
In the world of business, just like diamonds, I'm here to shine.
Bam. You see? And you got to put the little
I
neck on
agree.
it?
I don't think I needed
Okay.
the part 2. Okay.
All right.
That was good feedback.
Look at me. Producer. Okay.
But we're going to jump to the who said that. It's my turn.
Yes.
So I'm going to read the quote. Leonie legit doesn't know who this is.
Right.
So here we go. Real friends pick you up when you fall down. And if they can't pick you up, they sit with you on the ground until you can stand up for yourself.
Okay. And I also bring some chocolates and some wine on while I'm down there with
Yes.
you.
It's a campfire down here. We're camping.
Right.
Until you can get
up. Okay, so give me hints.
Okay, I'm going to give you hints. This person is an actress.
Okay.
She's been in some major films.
Mm-hmm.
She's an A-list actress. She also can sing, but she's not a recording artist, but she can sing. Acting is her main gig, but she can sing. She won an Emmy.
Yeah.
I think she won 2 Emmys. You have any ideas yet?
The first thing that comes to my head is Cynthia Erivo for some reason.
No.
Okay.
Now, there were more obvious clues, but I was waiting for them. Okay, she was born and raised in Oakland. That's like...
Born and raised in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost there. Is it Ava DuVernay?
Nope.
Okay.
She's
I think she was Compton.
She's biracial.
Oakland? That threw me off.
She's biracial. Her boyfriend is Spider-Man.
Her boyfriend is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
This is Zendaya?
Yes!
Girl, we already did Zendaya.
I know, but it was a really good quote for our subject.
A little wise one.
But it was like, for this subject, it was dead on. I'm like, I gotta do it.
Perfect.
I gotta do it. So that's why I wasn't giving you easy clues.
She's a wise one. I'm like, I wasn't expecting Zendaya. I didn't know she was from Oakland either.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Googled that.
Okay, cool.
So jumping into our topic of the day, we're excited about this one.
She can sing?
She can.
When has she
Look
sang?
up, she sang a Mario song with Mario. She came out and just sang with him. You should let me love you.
Oh, she sang, okay.
And she has like a really, like, she could have been a singer.
I had no idea. First of all, you need to give clues that everybody knows. Everybody doesn't know.
But if I gave them, you would have known too quick.
Sing.
You would have known too quick.
Well, there's other things she did. She did that thing with, what's his name, son?
I don't know that movie.
Me either, but you know the song.
I don't even think I saw it.
Do you know the song?
Denzel.
Denzel's son. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see that one.
Neither did I.
You would have known anyway. That give me clues that she wouldn't have known.
Okay. I'm sure she's done plenty of things that. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, she has a really pretty voice.
Okay. Really pretty voice. Nice to know.
Yeah, but topic of the day. So this topic is one that like, oh man, like,
it just hits home.
It does because everyone has.
We all need support.
Yeah.
We all need a tribe. We all need a village. We all need people to come around us.
Yeah.
And help us, not to help lift us up, not tear us down.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one of the things that I want to focus on is no matter if you have a good support system or a bad support system, you're the only person you can change.
Yeah.
So it's more about how do you function within your system, you know?
Or the other thing you could change is removing yourself from situations.
Yeah, but then you're still in another system, right? So you have to acknowledge, you have to figure out, are you the problem? Mm-hmm. Because if you're the problem going to follow you.
Correct.
And if you're not the problem, how do you figure this out for yourself?
Right.
Whether that's leaving it, doing something else, having boundaries.
Boundaries, adjusting what the relationship looks like.
Yeah, so figure that out. So let's jump in.
Yes.
Let's just jump on in. So, I mean, do you want to share your story when it comes to support? Like, how have you felt supported or not supported? Or
I can go on all day about support or not support. But I will say, when it comes to entrepreneurship, family and friends are most likely not going to get it.
Yeah.
Most likely not. Mm-hmm. There are, if you have, like, we were friends before we started businesses, but the fact that we have that shared interest really helps add that extra special touch to our friendship. Right. But you don't have that with a lot of people. Right. So when I became an entrepreneur, I went on a search for people who were like-minded people, basically. And so I kind of felt unsupported in some ways by family and friends because I felt like they didn't get it. And when they would call and tell me about how their day is going and stuff, I'm like, I have business to talk about. And I would say what I'm doing. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. Because, like, you don't really have any feedback. There's like no banter we can have about it. It's not like we're going to work together. It's like something you may not even understand fully. So it was a bit lonely for a bit. I would feel like nobody gets me and stuff like that. Yeah. But when I started to find my people who were that had the same type of drive I had towards entrepreneurship, things opened up and it was really exciting. Yeah,
I think I have the same thing. The thing about being an entrepreneur is people who aren't one, they think completely different than you. And everyone isn't meant to be one.
It took me a while to realize that everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm like,
why? Me too. I'm like, why would you want to work for
anybody else? Like, why?
But it's not for. It's really not for every. It's really not for everyone.
It's really not. It's like it's for the nuts who like to take risks. Yeah. And like to live on the edge.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I feel like the biggest hurdle that I feel like I've crossed when it comes to my support system and entrepreneurship is them thinking I'm doing too much. I feel like that's always what people think.
What do you mean? Expand.
Like, you're doing too much. Like, you just need to go to work. Like, you don't need to be doing work in this. Or you don't need... Like, why are you doing so much? You're always posting. You're always... Focused, like, they just think everything you're doing is too much.
Okay.
Like, you're just... You know? Like, even they don't necessarily think what you're doing is business or work. They think you're doing a lot.
Well, that's another thing that people don't really understand. The wild West type of landscape that we're in entrepreneurship right now. For instance, like you could create an Instagram page or something you're not even interested in. You build that up for followers with followers and all engagement and all that. You can sell that. Somebody could just be good at getting followers and building up pages. That could be a business that you sell. Yeah. So you being on social media and doing all that stuff, nobody else has to understand it. But as long as you know the end game, that's what matters. So it's like when we talk about support groups and we talk about, our community, does everybody have to get you for you to feel safe or comfortable?
They don't. Now I understand that. When I was younger, I didn't, because the people who I had were the people that I had. Right. And so I wasn't thinking I need a different support group for my entrepreneurial side of me and a different support group for this. I'm just thinking these are my people. Right. So like when your people's close, the people closest to you don't really understand you and they just don't get it. Or you bring them an idea and they're shutting it down, or they're giving you all the negatives, or they're being devil's advocate and they're killing your energy. It's a hard hurdle to overcome when they're the only support system you have, right? Know. And so it's really, really hard, especially when you're like the only one, right? And then even when you're dealing with other entrepreneurs, it isn't always easy, because they're focused on their thing. right? So you're not always going to get a whole lot of support there because they're so focused on their thing. So it's this weird balance of you being okay with being by yourself, okay with no one supporting you, and then also finding some people you can bounce things off of, but still knowing that they're doing their own thing. Right. So they're not going to be, because there's different types of support. There's emotional support, and there's like physical, like I need someone with me in my business. I need someone to be at the table with me. Right. And I need to break down and set up. Who
can guide you and give and impart wisdom.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a hard thing. I think as I've gotten older, I've done better with surrounding myself with that, and I gatekeep myself a lot, and I gatekeep my ideas.
Gatekeep is such a good word, because something about when we talk about communities and the people that your supporters, oftentimes the people that are closest to us, our friends and our family, we share things with them as entrepreneurs for validation a lot of times, and we give other people permission to be our gatekeepers. And you got to be careful with that, because that will stifle your progress and what you want to do, because take the advice or hear the advice, I'll say, from people around you, whether they are your like-minded people or not. I would say hear it, but you be the person to decide what validates you. Don't let whatever Joe Blow is doing be the thing that validates your success or your progress or whatever.
And I think I'm very mindful because I know me, and I know I care. I know whose opinions I care about, right? So even when it comes to an idea, sometimes I don't even mention it until I'm already confident in my idea. Because if I let some people in,
better at that.
If I let too many people in too early, they will have me aborting something before you even have time to live. Because they're just negative, right? And they don't mean to be, they just don't get it. Right. So I'm very mindful. So by the time I tell most people, I've made my decision. Like, I'll be like, I'm having a podcast. Now, should I do a podcast?
Right.
I'm doing one.
Doing a podcast.
Right? And it's no offense to them. I just don't have, I don't have the time for them to abort something that I know I'm supposed to do. Right. Now, I'm not the type who, I don't take feedback, I don't take constructive criticism, but I'm mindful of who I seek that from. Right. I'm mindful of people who are open-minded, who are future-thinking, who are innovators, people who have taken risks themselves. It's funny, the people who are most opinionated about what you shouldn't do have never taken a risk.
Never did the thing.
They've never done anything.
Never did the thing.
So they don't want you to do nothing because they're afraid of everything. And I'm like, you're not going to help me.
No, and that's why and I learned in some situations where I just tell people what the result of something is. Once it's done, I don't even tell you that I'm doing it. It's like I just tell you the result of it. Because that's really all you need to know, because I don't need help making the decision.
I remember I had this person who I'm friends with, but we kind of became like a social media thing. We don't see each other much. But they will always, when I would post reels and things, they'll always be little snippy little comments that felt a little undertony about kind of me posting too much, or, oh, you're always posting, or you're so wise, little stuff like that. And I'm like, this feels a little hatey. I feel a little shade, And I just kind of let it ride. And then I remember it was years later, I'm like, this person's always the first to watch my stories, the first to watch my reels, but they never give me a compliment. They never say, oh, I like your stuff, or this is great. It was always, never hearted it, but they will always have little snippy things. But one day, one of these people was going through something, their little sister was going through depression or something. And I was their first call. They tracked my number down through family. Wow. And I'm like, so, it's one of those things where even when people don't get it, and they might discourage you.
There are admirers from afar.
They're watching you. And so you have to know, you have to be so confident, like we talked about this before, so confident in what your gift is and what you're supposed to be doing, that even when people who are later going to support you aren't supportive, you're pushing through, because they're gonna come around. When you're successful, people come around.
We said another episode that people will come around.
Yeah, when you're successful, they'll come around. People aren't always going to be there with you in the starter stages, in the ditches, and you're climbing out. They're not going to be there for the rough parts. But when you're goody and you're successful, they'll be the first one telling people they know you. Right. And can you help me? And I need to know what to do, and things like that. So I'm happy that I didn't let some of those things, and she was just one example, but I didn't let some of those things discourage me, because I wouldn't be able to help.
I have let people's comments about something discourage me, and then years later I've been thinking in my head like this is how they feel about something, or that, and that influenced my decision on why I did or did not do something. And then down the line they were like a completely different opinion. It's like I've just made a decision that has affected me in some way for the past couple of years, and it wasn't even something that you really was on 10 tones down about. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
People will Mike Jones you real quick.
you gotta it's like it can flip flop. But you did that. The story you said about that person who came up later, like kind of related, kind of not related. But since you brought it up, it reminded me of when you started His Peculiar People, I believe, and you had a photo shoot. And I remember when I was in Texas at the time. You were still, I don't know where you were.
I was still in California.
California. I saw you had the photo shoot, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You have like your business. That inspired me to start my personal styling business. Yes.
I didn't know that. You just made my whole day. Really?
Yes.
I love that because that was a struggle.
You've been inspiring girls since day one.
Oh, I love that because I remember, I mean, I don't know if my parents listen to this or not, but I remember they just were not.
They didn't get it?
No. I mean, I've always been like the rebel of the family. I'm not even bad, but compared.
I've always to like a straight lace.
Yeah, I've always just kind of done my own thing. And so I remember they were kind of like, okay, you know? And I don't think it was until they came to my launch, because I had a whole launch event, and they were like, oh.
Right. Like, oh, you did that. That's
you're capable of things.
Right. And it's funny how that, if they haven't told you already, they may do that. My mom did that for me. Not that long ago, a couple days ago or a week or so ago. And she's like, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you.
Aww.
And she said, I know we fought a lot. We butted heads a lot because like you just have to do your own thing. And when she was like, I let up off you because God told me I got her, she'll be all right. And she's like, I'm glad to see where you are.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, me and my mom had some real difficult moments because it's like, let me do me. Can I live?
Just let me breathe.
Yeah. It's like, get up off my back.
Yeah.
So it's like having that moment was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had the moment with my dad. Don't talk much, but my mom, we've had that moment. Like she's called me, she's be like, I'm really proud of you. Like, she's like, I'm proud of who you are, the person that you are. I'm proud of like how you treat people. And I'm like, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because it's been a lot of character building that I've gone through, and it's just like, gee, you know, sometimes. But I mean, I'm grateful. But there has been times I felt alone, like no one understood me. Like, I mean, that's why I named my business His Peculiar People at the time, because I was trying to understand why I was so different. Like, everyone else.
Why do I feel like I fit in anywhere? Yeah.
Like, why am I like the only one with these ideas? Why am I the only one?
And I'm the only one so excited about it. Sometimes I still do this. I'd be coming to the meetings and be like, if we could do this, and it'd be like, next. I'm like,
listen,
oh my God.
I be hyped.
I hate that feeling.
It's a struggle. But like when I think about like if I were to give people tips on like how do you maneuver through, you know, if you're trying to do something and the people you love the most don't support you.
Right.
And that could be not just family, friends. You lose a lot of friends when you're trying to do something different. Yeah. Because you're going to become a different person.
And it's not, and so I want to clarify that too. It's not just like, okay, I'm doing, I'm like into athletics and now I want to go and skydive. I don't know. So that's still kind of in the same thrill realm, I think. But you know what I mean? Like you'd start with, well, I'm going to be a surfer and now I'm going to be a chef, whatever it is. That's like, okay, you could change. But when you go through a transition of changing from one lifestyle to another, there's a transformation there. Yeah. And everybody doesn't transform at the same rate, at the same time, in the same way, in the same direction or path. So it is a difficult time when you're growing. So you feel that that happiness because like you feel the growth, like you feel like you're bursting. For me, I feel like I'm bursting through the soil and I'm feeling the sunshine. I can feel my leaves and my branches stretching and stuff like that. But then it's like this relationship feels more distant because it's just like we're not talking about the same things. That we're not interested in the same things right now.
Or maybe you'll see like your friend isn't showing up for you.
Right.
And that could be a thing. You know, like, I remember when I had my launch, I had one particular friend, she just no-showed. And we were very, very close.
Yeah.
And I always showed up for her.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell me she wasn't coming. She just didn't come.
Why was that?
What did she end up telling me after? It was something that was,
right.
You know, like, because it's not like I hadn't been talking about it for months.
Right.
You know, and I was so excited. And so for her not to show it, like, it really made me think, like, well, oh, dang.
I've been there for sure, where it's like you show up for other people and then you're like, and this friendship, I want that level in which I show up for you. I want that to be reciprocated. Yeah. And when it comes to being an entrepreneur, for sure, it is a lonely space, especially when everybody doesn't get you. Yeah. But at least as my friend, I want you to be there.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to get it. Just show up. There's many things my friends do. I don't get it. Right. I don't have to get it. I'm going to show up because you are doing it.
And be excited for me.
Yeah, and be excited for you. Like, you made a decision. Great.
Right.
I'm going to support you. Even if I disagree with the decision, I will tell you my opinion. That's it.
I think that's why you and I get along so well, especially in this space where I think we could work, why we work together well, because we are genuinely so excited and hyped for each other and for our friends and other people. Yeah. So it's like, it's easy to gravitate towards that when we're both on that same celebratory energy.
I think it's a confidence thing. Yeah. Yes. Because I don't think your success decreases from me. No. And you don't think my success decreases from you. No. If anything, I'm like, I got a friend who's winning. Right. Like, I'm the type who tell everybody. I was like, I got a friend who's doing blah, da, 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 da. Like, let me find my friend doing something. Exactly.
Sometimes I'd be too early and be like, I like to network too quick and be like, let me connect you. I don't even know y'all that well. I don't even know. But I'm like, this seems like a good connection.
Yeah, but when people don't always have their own thing going or they're not completely happy, and that's when you kind of, like you're saying, like, you find out friendships and if they're going with you in the next season of your life, because you figure out, can this person cheer for me even when things aren't going well for them? Right. Because some people want you to be successful as long as you're not more successful than them. Yes. And so once you first, like, pass them, they start feeling away. Right. Right? And that's when you realize, okay, I have to let this friendship maybe go to the left. It can't be my forefront friendship.
For me, it's more like I have this whole thing about gracious leadership. And you could be a leader at work and in your marriage, with your siblings, with your friends, whomever. And when I sense that from somebody that I'm close with, I try to make the room as open as possible to be like, there is no ego here. And I want you to be able to be honest, and I want you to, there is grace in this space for you to have a human response to whatever you're feeling. I'm not going to expect everybody to be all confident and like your insecurities can't show in front of me, because they can. And so, but that is to a certain extent. Yeah. At some point where it's like, well, I can't hold, sometimes you can't hold space for a situation for too long, or a relationship for too long.
It just changes, like we're talking about your board. Right. You sometimes have to rearrange your board. And your board are people who come together for your business success and for your success, and they help you make the best decision for your success. Right. Because they have a vetted interest in you being successful. They want you to be successful. That's what your board should be. Right. So I think we all should have a personal board. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes friends have to move to a non-voting member of the board. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Perfect way to put that. Where it's like, I can't hold space for you as a full voting member. Now you're like a partial voting member,
because it makes a difference.
Or a no voting member in this season, because you're not able to show up in this space that I held for you.
Yeah, I remember I had this other situation. I had this other situation, a girl I grew up with at church. She may or may not listen to this, but we've grown past it, so I won't say her name, but you know who we are. But we follow each other on social media. After high school, everyone just kind of goes separate ways, right? So I went to college. Graduated college, started my business, started doing stuff like that. She went a different route. I'm not even sure of her exact route. Yeah. I didn't know her route because we just hadn't, church was our meeting point, and we weren't both going there anymore. So as adults, we kind of come back to church, kind of engaged, not actively, but a little bit. And she was honest with me. She said, sometimes I watch your social media and it makes me feel bad about myself because for us to be the same age, I feel like I should be further along. I should be doing more things. And I look at what you're doing, it makes me feel a type of way. And I said, I appreciate you being honest about that. It's not like she was a board member, but It made me.
Crystal's
it made me
board member.
Now I'm going to be running that through the whole episode. But I appreciated her honesty because it made me more mindful of how I post and what I'm putting out there. Not that I'm not going to share my victories, but after that conversation with her, I started sharing the journey to the victory.
Yeah.
Because I think it's huge for people to understand if it can happen for me, it can happen for you.
Absolutely.
If I could do it, you could do it. And it wasn't easy for me to do it. I had struggles. I had no's. I had ran up credit cards. And, I've had it. The journey to me being a graduate from college, that 4 years was rough. If that's what you're comparing yourself to, the rough 4 years took me 5.5, probably 6. Don't even quite know. But it took me a while. I had some failed classes. I had to retake 1 or 2 or 3. I had to do summer school. I almost didn't graduate. It was a lot. But people just see, oh, she graduated, and I didn't graduate.
And you do it with a happy face, and you're doing it with a smile.
Yeah.
And it's like I think sometimes people get this perception like happy-go-lucky people where it's like things are just easy for you.
No.
Yeah.
So struggle. So I remember after that conversation, I started posting if I shared any great thing. If I shared, I got a new job, I got a new house, I bought a home, I got whatever, I'd be like, but let me tell you how I got here. Because I think when people realize, oh, she's human.
Right.
Things aren't just great for her. Things aren't just handed to her. It makes them realize, oh, I could do it too.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of it. But even her being honest, it made me realize, okay, like if I'm thinking about a support system, I'm thinking about what I'm pouring out into the world, I need to be mindful of that. And although I'm not on her board either, she was influenced by me through social media, right? She was I was a part of her world in some way. I was a part of her thinking.
Right.
And so I think even things like that, like if your friends are honest with you, I want my friends to be honest with me. Like, hey, you being, I don't know, like you being married with kids, that makes me feel away because I'm not married with kids. It doesn't, by the way. But if that were, I would want to feel like I could tell you. So you could be like, no, girl, like it could happen for you. So sometimes I think even if you are a hater, you might not know if you're a hater. You might know if you're a hater. You know if you're a friend of me. You know that one friend, if you're being honest, no, you don't have to tell nobody.
Right.
But if you're being honest, when people have success, if you get that feeling,
right,
even for a moment of like,
it's like check what's inside of you. That's
we've all felt it. I felt it.
Right.
I felt it where something happened. I'm just like, Now it might not last, but I felt it. So we've all felt it. So if you felt it, then you need to stop and realize, like, man, I have some jealousy going on here, and I need to check it.
Yeah. And
be honest, because you become a friend of me without even realizing.
Exactly. You just be hating on stuff just to hate, and it's like, why? When you could celebrate, you could be a part of that celebration and give that energy that you want given to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you feel like, and there could be a situation too where it's like you want to support somebody, but somebody's on their high horse and they start acting all fuddy-duddy.
Yes.
But it's like you have to realize that's the time to assess the relationship and say, can I hold space for this? Yeah. And if you can't be honest to that person, then maybe they need to be off the board completely. Yeah. Like you were way over there. Yeah.
Just like the ChatGPT guy, but no. But don't call him back after you kick him out. Okay, let me continue. But
okay.
But if I were to give tips for people who are wanting to have healthy relationships, I think communicating clearly, being honest with how you're feeling, how you're interacting with them, and how their interactions are making you feel. Like you have a friend and you're just like, man, you never support me.
Yes.
Right?
And be honest. It quickly. Don't wait.
Yeah, don't let it fester.
Forever. Please don't, because there's going to be compounding things, and then you're going to be having a list of things that somebody did to you that hurt you. Yeah. And it's like, just nip it in the bud as fast as you can.
Be
and
clear.
I know it's hard. I know it's easy to chicken out with those type of things. Yeah. To like, you don't know how it's going to feel. You like the relationship. You want to at least keep the relationship where you don't want to deal with it. We have an issue with unearthing complicated conversations, but it saves you so much heartache and time in the long run.
Yeah, communicate and be clear. Now, I will say, I'm huge on, before you communicate something, check with yourself and make sure it's not a you issue.
Right.
Because I don't think it's fair for you to turn you issues into other people's issues.
Say that again and then give an example.
It's not fair to turn you issues into other people's issues.
So
an example.
Examples.
If, your friend does something and it makes you feel jealous, or it makes you feel bad about yourself, or it makes you feel insecure, or it makes you feel like you're not doing well in your life, that's a you issue. That's not a them issue.
Right.
Now, if they're purposely doing it, some people can be that way.
Right.
like, oh, I got this and you don't got, right? But if they're just living their lives and them just living is making you jealous, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
So don't come to them like, you're making me feel jealous. No, it's not them. That you can communicate to them,
it's
like, hey.
You're the way that you show up is too much for me. It's like, that's not my problem.
That's not fair. You post too much and it gets on my... These are you issues.
Right.
And so I think when it's you issues, you need to fix your you issues. Now you can communicate to them like, hey, I notice I'm feeling jealous when things happen. You're not doing anything wrong, but I'm noticing it. And I just want to be honest with you. Like, if you could be mindful of certain things for me for a minute, because I'm trying to figure it out.
Now, the fear is if you're vulnerable like that with somebody and they're like, well, I'm going to be thinking about this now every time we're together. I don't want you to be around.
Yeah.
And that could naturally end the relationship.
Yeah, and it could. But that's a risk. Communication is just because you're open and you're honest doesn't mean it's going to go off well.
Right. You have to decide. You have to decide what you want to live with. Do you want to live with the potential, the possibility that friendship may end because that honesty may make both or one person uncomfortable, or do you want to go home angry and like ruminating on
And sometimes you can be more vague. You can say, hey, I'm going to step back a little bit for the next couple months because I got some stuff I'm working on. And I realize me being in a social environment is not helping me to work through them.
Right.
You didn't do anything wrong. I love you. You're my friend. If you need me, text me. But if you notice my distance, it's because I'm working on some things.
Yeah.
Like, you can be honest like that. I remember when I was in grad school, I was very clear with my parents. Do not call me between these hours and these hours because I'm studying. I said that.
Your parents got to schedule an appointment.
Listen, ask my mom. She knows. Like, I'm like, please not call me after this time. I will not answer because I'm studying.
I just don't answer. They'd be like, Leonie don't ever answer her phone.
No, I'll tell people like, hey, I'm studying, or I'm doing this, this, and this, or I'm studying for my exam. So if I don't answer your call, it's because I'm studying. But when I'm done studying, I'll hit you back up if I remember. Like, I'm very honest. I'm very honest. And so people aren't like, Crystal's not answering my phone calls for no reason, or I did something to her. No, I'm just...
People just go to expect it. People are like, you need to do that. I'm like, I have only so much capacity for chit-chat.
Yeah, and so sometimes be honest. Like, I think... We think just because you're honest, people have to receive it well. No. You only can control you. You can't control nobody else.
Right.
But at least you know you were honest. And that's all you can do. But like I said, make sure it's not a you issue. Make sure you're not just emotionally dumping on people and making it their fault when it's not.
Right.
I think we talk about protecting your energy. Yeah. Right? So if you know people who are just negative, they're just skeptic people. They're just skeptical. They're devil's advocate all the time. Like, dang, the devil had a lot of space.
Right. Just know your friends. Know where their purpose is in your life.
Yeah.
Like, everybody isn't for everything.
Yeah.
And so if you need to start branching out and getting people that are going to resonate with you for this season in your life, whether you're working a job, whether you're an entrepreneur, or what you're somewhere in between, go seek out those people. The online is the best place to do that these days because you can find a community anywhere.
Yeah, and find people who are doing what you're doing or who have done what you're trying to do.
Right.
Right, and who want to like share and...
Especially as an entrepreneur, I would recommend... So, one thing I tell people who are looking to find out what they want to do in their job, or job for what they want to do for their business. I tell people, interview local business owners around your area. Good. And find out where their community is, who they're connected with, and how, if they can help you, if they could be your not mentor, but just can you guys have some coffees together and stuff.
You'll be surprised how many successful people like to talk about themselves. Like, successful people like to talk about themselves. Yes. They love it.
And then, especially if if somebody came to me, a young person, was like, I want to start a business, I really don't know anybody who in my immediate family or friend who is an entrepreneur, I really would like to know. I would be glad to go pay for your lunch and let's come.
Yeah, I've done it many times. Yeah. Like, I had a cousin who was becoming an MFT. And she's like, how do I do it? I'm like, no problem. And I told her. So there are a lot of people who just want to, if they've done what you're doing. I had done it. So she's like, how do I do it? This is how you do it. So it's like, people, you'll be surprised.
And then you'll have a friend.
And now you have a friend.
Then they can invite you to some type of conference or some type of event. And then you can meet more people. Yeah. And that's how you can get the ball rolling with that.
Yeah, I think also a big part of even your support system, remember you're a part of your support system.
Yes.
As well. So positive gratitude, self-talk, growth mindset, all that is like be kind to yourself. All that is so important.
Yes. Be kind and stop if you're having thoughts of like just damning thoughts about yourself and they're not positive and stuff like that. Really be active in stopping those intrusive thoughts, canceling those intrusive thoughts, and do some thought replacement and have and repeat it to yourself. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't believe it yet, repeat it, repeat it, because there's going to be a day where it clicks. Yeah.
There'll be a day where it clicks. There's this thing I've been talking to my friends about wanting to do, a wins bucket, or like a mason jar where when I win, when things go well, when I see when God blesses me, or when a prayer gets answered, or when it could be small, it could be
a swear jar, but for like
it could be like small things, like I called the warranty company and they agreed to give me some money. Like it could be small, or I woke up this morning and I got a free reward breakfast at Chick-fil-A. Like whatever it is, write it down. So when you're having rough days, you pull that out and you read them until you feel better.
You can remember that you have, even if it's not more good days than bad days in a week, say you have more bad days than good days in 1 week. Yeah. But you have something that's like, there are good days that exist, and those make it a habit where the good days outweigh the bad days in your mind at least.
Yeah, one thing that's come to my mind when it comes to support system and my theme, I always tell you guys, gratitude. I think sometimes we focus on the people who don't, but we don't focus on the people who do. Yes. So we'll spend so much time being mad that one person didn't show up. But like 50 people were at my lunch. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was more like 100 people. It was a lot of people. People who I didn't even know like that. Right. Strangers almost came. But I was so bothered that my one friend didn't come. And I think I spent so much time just being bummed that she didn't come, that I didn't get to acknowledge. But 100 other people came. Right. And we do that. We'll have like 2 or 3 people who, one friend who isn't on it, or she's always shading me, but then we have like 4 other who cheerlead the heck out of us, and we'll pour our energy. That's
because you're seeking that validation from that one person. But it's like, and honestly, the reason why you don't make people get your gatekeepers like that, some people get off on not giving you the validation they know you're seeking. Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. So I think that's also a thing. Like, shift what you're focusing on. Like we said before, what you water is what will grow. Yes. And it's like if you're pouring so much energy and emotional toll into the friends who don't support you, and you're ignoring the ones who always show up. You're even going to them complaining about the one who didn't show up. They're like, well, what about me? What are my chops doing? Like, right, exactly. It's like, you're not focusing.
I used to do that a lot, and I can't say I will never do it again. But where I'm at right now, I'm more confident in myself right now, first of all. I'm not in the place I want to be physically, like where, like everywhere, as far as like all my dreams haven't come true, basically. And I'm still in the middle of some tough times. Yeah. But I am more happy in this time than I feel like I've been when I feel like I've had a lot of things. Yeah. Because of how solid I feel within myself. Yeah. And how much I feel like I can stand on my own. Obviously, I have my husband, I have my child, so that I'm talking about, like, and when it comes to friendships and like being out in the world, I could stand solidly on my beliefs, on what I want, you know. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, overall, support systems are tricky. They are tricky.
Family
you be your number one supporter at the end of the day.
Yeah, friends are tricky. Actually, this book, Drama Free by Nidra Glover, we're not related. Maybe. Tawab, she talks about a guide to managing healthy family relationships. So look her up, her book. She gives really good tips on family. Because family's a little bit different. We don't choose them.
We don't choose them, but you damn sure can set boundaries.
100%. 100%. But we don't, you still gotta, I mean, some people can just walk away from their family and be like, I'm just done. And if you get to that point, I'm sorry that you're at that point. Yeah. But I know that's the reality for some people. Right. But many of us, it's like, no, I love this person, but they're not going anywhere. But how do I manage them being them? You know? Exactly. And so this will kind of help that. And when you're a business owner, like, it's already a lot of stress. You know, you're responsible for your livelihood. You're responsible for if you eat or not, if you got a roof over. So it's a lot of pressure. So making sure you set boundaries with those around you is so important, because it's just, your whole day can be ruined with the wrong phone call.
Absolutely.
You know, the wrong text message.
And then that all that inspiration you had to write that book or
it's done.
Whatever, it's like done. And then you just sit on the couch and you want to just eat chips.
And cry. Clearly we've been there. But yeah, so we hope that you learned from us, and I'm sure you have your own stories. So comment your story. We would love to hear how you've dealt with like family and friends, and because you lose people, you gain people. It's like this evolution of a changing of a board when you do anything.
And most importantly, how did you keep that relationship that where you grew apart, but you still were able to have a healthy relationship?
Yeah.
I don't feel like we hear enough of those stories.
Yeah, everyone doesn't have to remain your best friend, but they don't have to become your enemy.
Yeah.
And knowing that. You don't have to fall out.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything doesn't have to be a fallout.
No, it can be a drift apart.
How do you maturely, drift? Not even drift. It's like, how do you maturely go and have your different spaces, but you guys still are cool?
100%. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to jump to things we wish we knew.
Yes.
In regards to this. Do you want to go first?
Yes, and I've already said it several times in this episode, which is you don't need anyone to validate your awesomeness. Believe in yourself.
I like it. Mine is everyone doesn't get the memo on your life. That's okay. Do it anyways.
Do it anyway.
So that's mine. So follow us. You won't regret it. And you won't regret following us.
Yeah.
And subscribing.
Yeah.
Giggles and Goals on everything. You can find us there on everything. And you can find our individual businesses, my mindset coaching, life coaching, and
my consulting.
Her consulting. Yes. So follow us, like us, share us, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.